2020, Vistra's Executive Vice President and Chief Commercial Officer, Steve Moscato, shared with our national consultants the intricacies of the energy landscape. Today, we would like to share his message with everyone.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you guys for having me. What I wanted to talk about today is what is the benefit of being part of Vistra to your customer? Because I'm sure that's what you want to hear about. And you know what the answer is? And what I hope you come away with today is the integrated model. You've heard us talk about that repeatedly in a lot of our calls and a lot of our investor materials. My hope is that you take away today what that exactly means, and I hope it helps you in your conversations with your customer base. So the first thing is, if you think about it, there's three things we do, right? We make electricity, that's our generator. We sell electricity, that's you guys. And then there's what I do, which is we have to do all that and make money, and that's commercial. I'm going to use a car analogy to kind of hammer home some of those points. And if you think about it, when people make cars, they make all different kinds of cars, right? Different shapes, different colors, right? Even different environmental attributes, right? You have some hybrid cars, you have some electric cars. Well, it's the same thing with all the electricity programs that you guys sell, right? There's some that are conventional, some that have environmental attributes. There's different programs for the consumer's taste. Think of the car plant as the power plant. Right? That's the place where the cars or the electricity in this case is made. That's generation. I'm going to spend more time on that because I think that's something that's new for Ambit, right? Being part of Vistra's family. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about that. The other part of being in a car company, right? The dealerships. That's you guys, right? You guys have to create enough inventory, which is your products, and make sure you can sell those products, obviously to what the people need. Now, what about everything else, right? A car company needs materials, it needs inputs, it needs to schedule all those cars. That's kind of commercial. That's the piece where my team usually comes in and makes sure that the car company has everything it needs to produce the cars, and that you guys get the car delivered on time, high quality, in a way that your customers want it. Which gets us to the next thing, the three things I want to talk about. It's when you think about the integrated model, what is it that we're trying to do on the generation side? What we're trying to do is create reliable, affordable, and sustainable energy. RAS. Think of that acronym. Keep that in your head. So what is reliable? Reliable is when you turn that switch, your customers expect that power to show up. And one of the ways we do that is with our dispatchable assets. Dispatchable just means that we can control them. We can actually guide them up and down as electricity use changes. And believe it or not, electricity is mostly an unstorable commodity. We'll get to that in a little bit. But for the most part, you have to match supply and demand instantaneously. So these dispatchable assets, which are traditionally coal, nuclear, and natural gas. So Vistra has these in abundance, and we use these to help create a reliable grid. The next mix of assets, something that we're adding over time and something that we're increasing as part of our portfolio, are sustainable assets. These are wind and solar traditionally. And these assets we refer to as intermittent, meaning that we really can't control their output. The wind's going to blow when it blows, and the sun's going to shine when it shines. So it has the environmental attributes we want, but it's not necessarily what keeps the lights on. So there's a third asset class, which we're going to become, I believe, Vistra a world leader in, and one of the biggest players in North America, and that's batteries. What do batteries do? They're both sustainable and reliable. They allow us to take that intermittent generation from wind and solar and discharge it or make it available to your customers when they need it, when they want to use it. And obviously we use batteries, we use renewables, wind and solar, and we use our dispatchable assets, the fossil fuel technologies. We combine all these together to basically make electricity affordable. So again, that's how we produce that reliable, affordable, and sustainable energy, RAS. I'm going to use that acronym hopefully a little bit more, and when I meet you guys, hopefully someday in person, you can throw that back at me. So what are the benefits to your customers from this? And the first thing is what's the opportunity here? The opportunity is, how do we sell your customers an all-you-can-eat buffet of electricity at an affordable price with sustainable attributes, right? That's what we're trying to do here. Ultimately, the Vistra solution involves a lot of different pieces. And for those of you that have been through the polar vortex in 2014 in the Northeast, that extremely cold event, or a really hot Texas summer in 2011, you guys know what it's like to have your customers use tremendous amounts of energy at a time when the price is ridiculously expensive. We want to shield our customers from that. We want to make sure that the company can produce enough energy at an affordable price in a way that they feel comfortable and the company can still make money doing it. So how do we do that? Well, it starts with the customer's usage. I'm going to call the first piece the base, which is what your customers use at normal temperatures, okay? When the temperature is predictable for that time of the year. Those are generally filled with our low-cost assets. That's the dispatchable assets that we talk about and other low-cost assets. Those low-cost assets are on pretty much all the time. That's one of the reasons they're on. They produce affordable electricity and reliable electricity. And we use those assets to cover the base of your customer's usage. What about during those extreme temperatures, like we talked about in the polar vortex and during the hot summer weather in 2011? For those extreme temps, we call that the swing, right? Your customers swing up in their usage. For those, we need fast and flexible assets. Okay, those examples of that, a battery. A battery can discharge all of its electricity. When I say all of it, not necessarily everything it's stored, but it can reach its full capacity in less than 1 second. Nothing else can do that. And so other things we have is we have what we call combustion turbines. Think of these things as jet engines. They can turn on in 10 minutes and be at full capacity. So we use a combination of low cost and fast and flexible assets to generate that product, that all-you-can-eat buffet, so that your customers have all the electricity they need, regardless of the weather conditions. Something else, you're probably going, well, what else is there? What else can you guys do? In a low-price environment, when it's mild out, we also have the option to do what we call a make versus buy decision, which is simply, I'm going to turn my asset off and buy from someone else's asset that's less expensive. Again, all the ways that we try to produce the lowest cost power possible. It doesn't necessarily even have to come from our assets. How do we add sustainable attributes to that? Because we had talked about it's an all-you-can-eat buffet, so we use all those different mechanisms to do that. But sustainable, we just said wind and solar is how we get to the sustainable piece. Well, batteries smooth out those assets. Okay, so we may have a gas plant combined with a wind or a solar plant that uses a battery to smooth out that power to match the consumption of your customer base. And that is how we provide the reliable, affordable, and sustainable energy. So, in conclusion, what is it that I wanted you guys to take away from this? It's that the integrated model is a winner. Okay, it really is one of the benefits of being part of Vistra. It gives us that capability to combine all of these different tools on the generation side with the skills of my team, which is basically to provide the fuel and dispatch that electricity, ultimately to the dealerships, which is you guys, to sell those different product streams and different innovative approaches to electricity. Right? And then there's obviously the other aspects of it, the customer service. It's all the things that we do to try to separate it, to make ourselves a reliable and partner that's for the long term. And we do all this to match your customers' needs during any weather event. And those of you that have been through that polar vortex and that have been through the summer of 2011 in Texas, you know how important that is. A lot of other competitors have had trouble. A lot of other companies have lost a lot of money during that. And that's provided, that probably isn't something that our customers would look upon favorably, right? But you guys could say to your customers, we have the assets behind us. We have the integrated model behind us. We're able to create that reliable, affordable, and sustainable power and positive customer experience in all that we do. And with that, I'd like to thank you guys for all that you do, and thank you for letting me speak to you today.